Welcome our EMCs for today, Tony Award-winning stars of stage and screen, Anika Nani Rose and B.D. Wong.
I don't think of myself as someone who's easily excited, but this is very exciting. I cannot believe that Anika and I are the first people to have the honor of being able to say to you, welcome to the Strand Theater. American Conservatory Theater's brand new Center for Performance and Education. We are performers who grew up with ACT, and we are very, very proud to be here today.
Today marks the culmination of a decades-long dream for a second stage for ACT. I can tell you, I, as a student, spent a lot of time in a black box that, right, you can laugh. Even though that's the official name of the theater, it actually was a black hole. It took the sound out of your mouth. It took the awareness out of your life. Like, you were tired. You walked in, you were like, yeah, we're gonna do It was exhausting to walk in that room. So the timing for the Strand, they say it couldn't have come at a better time. It could have. It could have come while I was here. but oh well. With so many arts organizations struggling to maintain identity in our changing landscape, the Strand Theater will play a critical role anchoring the existing arts community in this neighborhood. And San Francisco has such a rich landscape of people and backgrounds and ethnicities. It is so much more exciting to bring theater to the people than to expect them to have to come to us. And it's important. That's what theater is supposed to be about. The Strand will provide San Francisco residents and visitors with a world-class entertainment venue and entertainers that will engage the local community through arts and education, and it will become a place to nurture new artists, new audiences, and new ideas.
The Strand is really the cornerstone of this movement to transform Central Market with educational, cultural, and creative energy, and to prove that is that creative energy that can transform a neighborhood for the better. We are very proud to kick off this celebration, and I hope that you'll join us in welcoming the Mayor of the City and County of San Francisco, Ed Lee.
Wow. You have got to know how I'm excited I am today, and there is just so much to celebrate. But let me begin by just thanking our MCs, B.D., you and Anika, just wonderful careers that you have, but you're also graduates of local world-class institutions, SF State and ACT. Congratulations. Those are the people who I have the privilege of sitting with on this stage. To all of you, to the friends of arts, welcome not just the Central Market, to the City and County of San Francisco who does it right for the arts. Yes. I've been saying all along, and it bears repeating over and over again, you know, as much as I appreciate the technology, it was the arts that took all the risk in making sure our Central Market was touched again and again, and making sure it became and came alive. I want to thank my staff for working so closely with Nancy Livingston and Carrie and Jeff Ubin and the entire group of people that have assembled to revitalize this theater. Yes, mid-market has been and was a challenge. No more. Now it's an attraction. And it's an attraction worldwide. In fact, I just had an audience with the mayor of New York, and they're saying, my gosh, what you've done in mid-market, God, it sounds like what we did in Times Square. And it's amazing. It's amazing of our celebration of what we can enliven, but it was led by community arts. And I will forever continue to tell that story because arts is a powerful, powerful message. It is an inspirator, an educator, an inspiring aspect of our society, and it's one that has time and time again enlivened our entire city hall and our residents because it is a great equalizer that when you invest in the arts, you can clearly revitalize entire neighborhoods and allow them to come alive with their own artistry. Look at what happened in the Tenderloin just a few days ago with 826 Valencia and the coming alive. Look at what's going to happen in the Tenderloin when Counterpulse opens up, when Mission Roots comes in, when Roots Division comes in the Mission, and also when the Tenderloin Museum opens up in a very short few weeks. This is all part of the scenario that we say to our residents and to not just artists, to our students, to our business community, to our government society, that arts can be a great equalizer for this city. And with this Strand, you should see the bold colors that are so inviting across from our international United Nations Plaza. It's just so inviting to have the most digitally imaginative, modern facility that we have here. And look out, this is going to be a center of a lot of conversations, a lot of activity, a lot of not just acting, but presentations, discussions, things that challenge us, like what's going to happen right here on this stage this fall when we relive the challenges that brought me here originally to San Francisco, the International Hotel, and how stories can be told of how we are, what we've done, and what we will do in the future to make sure our city is more affordable, more culturally diverse, more inviting, and we've got to come together even more on that very theme. This is where those themes can be represented, discussed, enlivened, and inspiring for all of us. So I say to the entire group of investors, of people who've lived here, of people who have made a $35 million investment for this theater, thank you, thank you, thank you. This is going to be a great center of activity, of thought, but also of provoking each other to do even better for our future. And I want to just say we have over 18 organizations over the past few years that we've touched with our central market strategy, making sure that not only do we do more than save, that we actually increase the arts programs in our city, both on a cultural basis and on a performing basis, that we continue making sure that our corridors are enlivened. And I want to just thank again the visionary that has been associating herself with me through the last couple of years to make sure this got done. Carrie, you've done a wonderful, wonderful job. You've given all of us a vision, and you and Nancy and Jeff and the entire organization have delivered on this promise. This is what communities hope for, is that when we make promises, we deliver on them. That's why I don't make a lot of new promises. But I want to deliver on old promises. And there was a promise that brought me here to San Francisco in the first place. It was a city of diverse opinions, of celebrating where we came from and offering hope of where we would go together. And this diversity is our strength, and these theaters and these performing arts bring us together. So say thank you to ACT, thank you to the Strand, thank you to everybody for getting this done. Now let's go forward and perform for each other and bring more people together. Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Thank you, Marilee. My experiences as a student at ACT's acclaimed MFA program left an indelible mark on me. I feel when I went in, I knew what it was I wanted to do. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been there. It's a higher education program. Hopefully, you're not going to spend the money you could have spent on 3 houses for something you're not sure that you want to do. The training that I received allowed me to step into my career fully formed, although still learning, but fully formed as an artist in the strength of who I was. What that means is I've been somebody who's been very lucky to have directors who are genius and amazing, like the phenomenal George Wolfe, and I've also had directors who weren't directing. Fortunately for me, although when you have a director who's not directing, it is more difficult for you because of what I learned here, not here, but here, I am able to take care of myself in those situations where I don't have somebody who is able to reach out and take care of me. That is a great, great gift to have. I feel that there is not a medium that I step into that I don't have some tools to not only survive but also to thrive. And when I feel that my feet are sort of shaky and the ground is not as steady as it could be or should be or I want it to be, I can sit down, relax, and allow what I've learned to move through me and take over. Because that's what training is about. When you're on stage, you're not thinking, ooh, what tool can I use in this moment to make this work? What you want to do is to step out of school knowing that you have those tools and having the strength and the skill and the faith to allow them to rise within you and come forth. And I think that that is something that happens at ACT. People talk about arts education and they talk about it as if it is something frivolous, something that's just fun, something, how many people have been told, oh, you need to get a real major, you need to get a real job. Well, this is a real job, and think about what your life would be if you didn't get to turn on the radio and hear some amazing music, arts, if you didn't get to sit down and read a book at night, if you didn't get to turn on your TV and watch something that allows you to escape completely from the day that you had, or see a movie, it would be a really dull world that we would be living in, and much less diverse. When you talk about school violence, as we cut art programming, we find that school violence goes up because children aren't allowed to express themselves. Art is therapy. Whether we think, I don't want to see your therapy in your one-person show on stage, but I don't want to see that. But art is therapy. If a student is having a home situation that isn't good, but they can go to an art class and draw it out, as you can see on some of these walls, and here we have some amazing art backstage. If they can dance it out, if they can sing it out, if they can express themselves in ways that maybe verbally they're not able to do in their own words, but they have someone else's words to put that out, there is a chance for that child's survival of spirit that is much greater than when you remove arts from the neighborhood. When we support our arts program, we have children who go to college at a much higher rate. We have children who are much more civically engaged. You have a society that wants to be part of the world in a much more different way than you're going to have to turn your phone off. You're going to have to turn your phone off. But they are engaged in a different way. They want to be a part of life in a much more different way than just going to work, clocking in, coming home, sitting down, doing it again. They live in a different way. So here to talk about the Strand Theater's artistic and educational initiatives, please welcome ACT Artistic Director and my friend, Carrie Perloff.
Thank you, Anika. Oh, I can't believe we're actually standing here. And I'm looking at all of you and thinking every single person in this room in some way has had a hand in this extraordinary adventure. And I feel so much joy in my heart that we persevered and made it happen. It was a crazy dream when we walked in here, Ellen, Richard, and I, and saw a room full of dead birds about 4 years ago, and tried to imagine making an art center here. This building sits in the vortex. It has, I like to say it's sandwiched between politics on two sides and a longstanding community and the tech tsunami, and here we are in the middle. Nancy Pelosi can look out of one window, Ed Lee can look out of his window, and everybody sort of sees this big, juicy red tomato of a theater sitting right in the middle. And I think that's why we wanted this space, and it was Jeff Ubben's vision that initially committed to this space, because theater is best as an organ of democracy, and the denser this city gets, the more democratic it will get, the more necessary a bridge, a spot is to help us actually gather and take flight. Lots of amazing arts organizations have led the way for us here. We're really honored to join you, to be part of the community that has already been pioneering in Central Market for so long. And we hope that we will help raise the tide by doing what theater does, which is it's silly, it's anarchic, it's imaginative, it's risk-taking, it's sometimes dangerous, it's loquacious, and it's always surprising at 7:30. That's when the curtain will be here, when the curtain goes up. 22 years ago, I came here, and in my interview with the board, I said, what about a smaller stage? We have a school. We have new ideas. How can we do this in 1,000 seats? And so we've been holding on to this dream for 22 years of something to complement our glorious Geary, which is our Wimbledon, which is an aspirational theater of the highest order. But it took a long time to actually find a way to complement it. So why are we here? The Strand is really about growing. That's the tomato metaphor, I guess, but growing new things. I want this to be a place that grows new audiences that haven't been part of going to the theater, that grows artists, actors, directors, designers, choreographers, composers, set designers, artists from such a wide range of disciplines who need a place to launch. I want this to be a place to grow our remarkable school, where Craig slates, wave Craig, young conservatory students, where's Melissa, wave amazing MFA students, wave your hands, ACT MFA! Woo! The future of the American theater, they will now have their own space to work in, where our extraordinary education programs led by the inimitable Elizabeth Broderson will have a home, not only on this beautiful 283-seat space, which converts into cabaret seating with waiter service, lest you doubt, but also in Rusty's roof room, which is going to be the most sought-after space in San Francisco. And because we get to be in this confluence of spaces, we get to think about what kind of art will provoke and collide and surprise and bring people together. And we're starting with an amazing play about data and meaning called Love and Information. And the cast is up there somewhere, I think. I hope they're there, our Love and Information company. And then, as Mayor Lee said, we're going to do a beautiful Filipino project this fall called Monstrous, Philip Congotanda and Sean San Jose, to really celebrate this community. So, and all those new strands are sort of put in an envelope that we're actually calling our director of new work, wherever she is, Beatrice Basso, the New Strands program, which will weave together many disparate art forms to create new work, and we'll do a festival every January. The other really thrilling thing is it continues our community space sharing program, which already started at the costume shop. So thank you to Carrie Schulman from the bottom of our heart. Shelley's here somewhere from RAIN, and thank you, Shelley. From the RAIN Foundation, we have gotten wonderful support to share our space with many different community groups. So dance, film, music, comedy, spoken word, radio, hip hop, this is yours. It'll be amazing. And of course, today's a day to thank all kinds of people, but it's my privilege to thank the people who actually built this, which is, because I trained to be an archaeologist, I like to say it's a sort of piece of urban archaeology. There's the old wall and the new wall, the old grills that have been beautifully repurposed, and all the new technology. It's an amazing combination. It was led by our lead architect, Michael Duncan, and the whole SOM team. Thank you, Jean Schneer. Thank you, Abby. And I'm going to do all these thanks together, and then you can applaud, or we're really going to be here all day. Huge and enormous thanks to Suzanne and John and Equity Community Builders. Huge thanks to Plant Construction, who delivered it on time. Huge thanks to Adam Shallak and the Shallak Collaborative that did our theater consulting. To Pharrell, LeBron, and Martell, who kept us out of trouble. To the First Republic Bank, U.S. Bancorp Community Development Corporation, Clearinghouse CDFI, the San Francisco Community Investment Fund, Northern California Community Loan Fund. All of you took a gamble on this theater and helped us finance it in arcane ways I don't claim to understand, but it's called new market tax credits. Thank you, Jason Seifer, for explaining it all to us. And I just have to end by thanking, most of all, my partner in crime, who brought this campaign home and did many late night and early morning panicked emails with me through the years, Nancy Livingston. Thank you.
This is already very, very, very clear to everyone in this room, but whenever anybody asks me, what is Carrie Perloff like? And they ask a lot. I can boil it all down to one thing, and that is, this is a person that makes things happen. I don't think I've ever experienced in my career a person who makes things happen in quite such an exhilarating and bold way. And I'm grateful to you for that energy as it has been introduced to me in my life. Apparently, people who make things happen and make bold choices and take risks, theaters that do so, people that do so, attract other people who do so. And I'm about to introduce the person without whom we would not be in this room. This person is the person who, in 2012, financed the purchase of this building and is also a person who makes things happen. Ladies and gentlemen, Jeff Ubben.
I don't know the order of the speakers, but I'm in front of Nancy. She may be doing this, and I don't know because she may follow, but you know, I'm really up here as a figurehead for the work these guys did. You've got the most loyal, dedicated, finish the job crew back here, I know. Haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you. You know, risk-taking and innovation are two words that not only aptly describe our great city, but they are essential to why ACT today is an internationally recognized nonprofit. The leadership of Mayor Lee and Supervisor Kim in setting the stage for the development of Central Market has been extraordinary. Fantastic. It really helped make our board of directors get comfortable to take the leap, to make the leap, and move quickly and confidently on buying the Strand in 2012. And it makes perfect sense to us that ACT should be part of this change, and we should all be very proud of it. Today, we definitely celebrate the beginning of a new milestone for ACT, pushing us to the next level of innovation and growth. Personally, my daughter's coming back to the city from college. She's moving in 5 blocks down the road, and I can see through her eyes already how exciting it is to have a theater like this right down the road. And there's hundreds of these kids coming back to that area 5 blocks up the road. So it's you know, makes me feel personally really excited to be part of their introduction to this vibrant, exciting area of the city. and I think it makes the city that much more welcoming to these sort of students. Lori and I are honored that we have been able to play a part in making ACT's dreams come true and bringing to San Francisco more great live entertainment that pushes the boundaries. Cheers to all of you. Thank you.
Next, I would like to introduce a woman who, for the past 18 months, has chaired the Strand Theater's $34.4 million capital campaign. She is a fearless leader and a staunch supporter of the arts and education, and someone I've known for a very long time, and I really enjoy. Please join me in welcoming the chair of ACT's Board of Trustees, Nancy Livingston.
Thank you, Anika, for being here today. It touches me deeply that you would come back to your alma mater, and they salute you, and you've spoken so beautifully today. And what the audience and even Mayor Lee doesn't know about B.D. Wong is that not only is he a proud undergraduate of this city, he got an honorary Master's of Fine Arts from ACT last year. So they are both alums, and welcome back into the fold. When I joined the ACT Board of Trustees 12 years ago, Carrie Perloff had already been cooking up and dreaming a second stage for ACT. But the Strand is truly beyond anything I could have ever imagined. And it's also the perfect complement to ACT's beautiful flagship Geary Theater. The Strand will offer patrons an intimate, up-close and personal theatrical experience. But beyond a performance venue, the Strand will be a home for actor training, our arts education programs, and even almost more important, an opportunity for total community building and an access point for new audiences to experience the art of live theater. As a new neighbor in San Francisco's Central Market community, ACT is committed to fostering positive change for the neighborhood and the community at large. I could not be more proud to be part of this organization, my family, during this important and exciting time. But there are a few people that must be recognized today who really helped make this a reality, this dream. And many of them are sitting on the stage behind me. Mayor Ed Lee and the City of San Francisco, Supervisor Jane Kim, Board President Kirk Hassan, and the entire Board of Trustees and Emeritus Board, from the bottom of my heart. Carrie Perloff, Ellen Richard, Jeff and Lori Ubben, Patty and Rusty Roof, Bert and Dee Dee McMurtry, Barney and Barbara Osher, Priska and Keith Gieslin, Tony Remby and Arthur Rock, the entire staff of ACT who helped put on this extraordinary event this morning, and our MCs today, Anika Noni Rose and B.D. Wong. I'm eager to see our audiences grow and change to reflect the energy of the Strand Theater. Thank you for joining us today as we welcome audiences, artists, students, and community members into this space and begin the next act in ACT's dramatic life. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Director of Design for the Strand Theater Project from Skidmore, Owings & Merrill, LLP, Michael Duncan.
Thank you. This project started with a 100-year-old building that was a workhorse motion picture house with good bones and a really great site on Market Street. The design goal was to preserve the old and insert the new, transforming the Strand from a derelict movie house to a fully equipped, hardworking home for theater. It's actually hard to envision this space before, but from where you're sitting, the body of the building can be seen in the walls and ceiling, which we preserved and restored. Into this shell, we inserted essential contemporary theater elements, including catwalks, lighting, flexible seating platforms, balconies and boxes, and this exceptional stage. The simple frame of the original building gave us our cue on how to reconfigure and upgrade it. Upstairs, we blew out the top floor and removed a warren of back-of-house spaces, carving out a generous black box theater. The space takes advantage of 3 formerly painted-over double-height bays of windows on the Market Street facade, opened up to capture stunning views over the city and City Hall. For the lobby, we removed another floor and several columns to create a lofty, light-filled entrance, which is visible through the newly opened and restored historic facade. This transparency extends the life of the building out to Market Street and engages the city. The dramatic LED scrim you may have noticed on the way in serves as a marquee and a theater backdrop, as well as a canvas for artists. Seen from the street, the lobby is alive with light and motion, making the energy and life of the building fully visible. And for the outside of the building, we chose a red that could not be ignored. The Strand has been one of those marvelous, wonderful projects that has inspired and motivated everyone who worked on its design and construction. It was important to all of us to bring the Strand to life because we believed in what the theater could be and what it could mean to the city. It is exciting to hand over this inspirational building to the tremendously creative people at ACT. We know they will make the most of everything the Strand is designed to be. Thanks.
I think it's time to cut the ribbon.
No, no.
No?
You skip.
Oh, no, sorry.
Get back.
Oh, no, it's...
Get back.
See, it's not even me.
That's why we have rehearsals. Representing San Francisco's District 6 on the Board of Supervisors, please join me in welcoming Supervisor Jane Kim.
Nancy, I got the shoe memo. It is so great to be here. And actually, before I start, I should just say I was raised by B.D. Wong and Philip Kongatanda and Sean San Jose. When I moved here to San Francisco, I discovered the art scene here. One of the first places I visited was actually just a block away from here, Bindlestiff Studio on 6th and Howard. And I was captured, and I never went back. I started volunteering for Intersection for the Arts, attending shows at the Marsh, Galleria de la Raza, absorbing as much as I could. I was inspired, challenged, cried, and actually literally inspired me to act. And I didn't realize how much arts would play a role in building up to where I am today, in inspiring me to act and to be a part of the community that I live in and to serve. And it's such an honor today to sit here now as a representative for this amazing part of the city, which includes Mid-Market, South of Market, Tenderloin, and Mission Bay, and Treasure Island, and to represent so many of the art organizations that I love so much and want to continue to support. When I came into office, actually, the mayor and I began our first term, our first year as elected officials. And maybe perhaps a little naively, we decided to stake our ground on a promise that the city had made for over 50 years, which was to revitalize Mid-Market. And so we moved forward in crafting a plan to attract businesses, nonprofits, and arts organizations to a corridor that had the highest commercial vacancy rate in the city, despite the infrastructure, the over 15 muni lines that ran through here, and other things that had already existed in the site. But on top of that, empty buildings. But even after we passed the policy, because you can write policy and no one can act on it, we still needed some early investors to come in, because even then some people said that we were crazy to stake our ground on this corridor. But we were lucky. We had some early folks that had the vision, along with Carrie and Nancy, that said, we can make this a reality. Legislators can write all the laws that they want to see, but we're going to make that into truth. We're going to breathe it into life. And I'm so lucky, because now I can say that we have fulfilled our commitment, and this corridor is only going to continue to grow. So along with the Strand, of course, we have many, many other arts nonprofits here. We will have Counterpulse moving on to Turk Street. We have Luggage Store Gallery, amongst many, many others. But I made the same challenge to the arts organizations that came here that I did to the tech companies, and that was to really be a part of the community. Now, arts have always been a part of San Francisco, so it was an even bigger challenge to ask the arts to integrate even deeper into the neighborhood and to be a part of building community. And ACT took that on with vigor. I just have to tell you how impressed I was with the plan, the outreach, but not just going to the easy folks. They went into our SRO hotels. They gave tickets away to shows. They went to our public schools like Bessie Carmichael and brought them on stage. It was such a joy to see our 4th and 5th graders perform on a real stage in front of a live audience and get to experience that. I actually was a part of a very small band. We weren't very good, but I played bass guitar, and I remember the first time I was on a stage as an adult, and it's really an amazing experience. I had always participated as an audience member, but there's something very different about being on stage and being able to share something that you wrote and worked on and practiced with a larger audience. And that is, I think, one of the most important parts of what arts can be a part of here in the city, but also mid-market. It can be the glue. And I have been in politics and in activism for a long time, and I can say that there are very few things that I think are as effective in promoting change and inspiring people to be a part of change than the arts, because it's the stories. It is the stories of real people that inspire people to want to make this a better, healthier, stronger, and safer place for everyone. So I just want to congratulate the team. I know that even beyond established arts, there will be the Tony Rembe Theater downstairs, which will allow many of our artists to pilot and do really experimental and fun and exciting theater before we bring it up, which is so important to support our emerging artists as well, so they can become the B.D. Wongs of the future. And finally, I just want to recognize, as many people already have, equity community builders. I see Ben Golvin and John Clausen here, and of course, SOM, Michael Duncan. The designs that you showed 2 years ago, it's alive. It's amazing, because often things don't look like the drawings. So when I walked through the doors, I was just stunned. The light, all of that was there, and we also moved the kiosk and the bus stop, which. But finally, beyond the vision of the director, Carrie, thank you so much for your leadership. I've served on boards before. I was on the board of a very small theater nonprofit, the Asian American Theater Company, and I know what it's like to be on a board of directors. You're basically full-time, unpaid volunteer staff. You are the development director, you are the HR director, you are the shoulder to cry on, you're a manager. You do so many things, and you're not paid to do that. And Nancy, thank you for your leadership. And I also want to recognize Jeff Ubben and, of course, your wife, Lori, for really ensuring that the $34.4 million capital campaign was fully realized. Congratulations. Thank you.
Supervisor Kim, so sorry for my oversight earlier. I could feel the artistic director's ire rising and panic. And I'm glad I fixed that. We were able to hear your wonderful remarks. I think now, yes. Really, I just really came here for a ribbon cutting, so I'm. But I am also encouraging you to tour the building after the ribbon cutting. I think on your own, any way you want, and just take in what a marvelous and wonderful accomplishment this has been for everyone involved. And that's all I have to say. I'm throwing it over to you.
Okay. I just want to say that Carrie Perloff has been trying to make this happen for as long as I've known her. It wasn't always going to be this, but it was always trying to be something, and I am so proud to have come up under you and now to be able to stand next to you and call you friend, and as a woman to see how many doors you have kicked down in spite of being told you can't go through there. Yeah, I see you. One thing that this board knows, by putting their money where their mouths are, all the time, every day, all day probably, as they think about different things and how to best utilize their resources, what I appreciate is the knowledge that theater is not for the 1%. Theater is for all of the rest of us, as it is about all of us. So if we want to make sure that the theater is telling our stories, singing our stories, dancing our stories, putting our stories alive, we have to make sure that we are there, that we are present, and that we bring our stories to the theater. So thank you all for coming and supporting, and make sure that you grab a child and bring a child to a show, because it has to start small. They have to know small that living stories happen and that they can affect those things. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, the Emeritus Board, and the entire staff of ACT, thank you for joining us today. We look forward to seeing you at the Strand Theater very soon.
To commemorate the opening of the Strand Theater, I ask Mayor Lee, Carrie Perloff, Jeff Ubben, Nancy Livingston, Jane Kim, and Michael Duncan to come front and center and cut the ceremonial ribbon.
Wait, I want to cut it. Drum roll, please.
Drum roll, please.